Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. If you'd all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Sean, if you'd please call roll.
Deputy Mayor Baggett.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Excused.
Councilmember DeCoursey.
Excused.
Councilmember Holman.
Here.
Councilmember Pelosa.
Excused.
Councilmember Trout-Manuel. Here. Councilmember Wells.
Here. So we are fortunate that we do have a quorum tonight. We don't have much on the agenda in the way of city business, but we do have to have at least 4 of the 7 council members in attendance to be able to act on any of the motions on the floor this evening. So I am going to start out with proclamations. We have 2 this evening, one for National Recovery Month and one for Suicide Awareness Month. And so I'll move over this way. All right, I believe we have several people in the audience this evening that are here for the, where are we here? Sorry, these actually do have the names in them, I believe, yes. Okay, so if I could have everyone come up for Recovery Month, that's here for Recovery Month, please. Okay, let's see here. Do we have anybody from Health Point? Are you from Health Point? Excellent, okay. All right, so there is a proclamation for each of the organizations here. Come on in behind so you can be seen on camera. Yeah. Nobody told you that part? I'm sure. All right, let me just take one of these. All right, so as you can see by the number of people in attendance this evening, that Recovery Month is very important to our community. And there have been several events in our community. Last Thursday evening was at Battlefield, at the Battlefield Coffee House, and then on Friday morning we had an event at the King County Library that was done by King County Behavioral Health Recovery Division. All right, so the proclamation this evening, the one that's in front of me is for Health Point, but just know that your individual organization will be in the proclamation that you receive. Excuse me. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness, and whereas prevention of mental and/or substance use disorders works, treatment is effective, and people recover in our area and around the nation. And whereas preventing and overcoming mental and/or substance use disorders is essential to achieving healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally. And whereas we must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and/or substance use disorders to implement preventive measures, recognize the signs of a problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and recovery support services. And whereas an estimated 400,000 people in King County are affected by these conditions. And whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, and our local agencies, King County Behavioral Health and Recovery Division, Battlefield Addiction, Crisis Connections, Downtown Emergency Services Center, Health Point, Nexus Youth and Families, Ray of Hope, and the City of Auburn invite all residents to participate in the National Recovery Month. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim September 2018 as National Recovery Month in the City of Auburn, and I encourage all citizens to join together to observe this month with the appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month and message that Join the Voices for Recovery, Invest in Health, Home, Purpose, and Community, dated this 4th day of September 2018. Right, so I will call you up based on who is bolded in this one, and ask that you introduce everyone who is here and if you have a few words that you would like to say. So first is Health Point.
We brought with us some of our providers, managers, and behavioral health, and Nate Kittle is one of our physicians, Yvonne Paschke, one of our managers for the Health Point Auburn, Alexis Schliss is part of our behavioral health team, and I am Suzanne Laurel. I'm the lead physician at our Auburn Clinic, and we thank you for recognizing this and for participating with us in helping as many people as possible to recover to good health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And next, do we have anyone from Downtown Emergency Service Center? Yeah. Yes. Ah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. I am Carissa Strike, the manager for DESC's mobile crisis team. Last year we got a team fully utilized for South King County, and continuing to build this year, and very humbled to be at any table involving the city of Auburn. So thank you very much, and we can look forward to our continued partnership. Thank you.
All right, next, Crisis Connections.
That's me. Thank you so much. So good evening. Thank you so much, Auburn City Council, Mayor Backus, for honoring Recovery Month. So I'm the Executive Director of Crisis Connections, and we have the Washington Recovery Helpline. That's one of our service lines, and we serve all citizens in the state of Washington to help find the resources that they need and the support that they need, so that they don't have to be alone, and they know what options are available to them around medication-assisted treatment and around seeking any kind of care that they need around substance use disorder. And we really appreciate that you see this as a priority, and feel very honored and humbled to serve the citizens of Washington, and particularly South Sound, because I'm a South Sounder. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Nexus Youth and Families.
Thank you, Mayor Backus, council members. My name is Michael Jackson. I'm the Development Director for Nexus Youth and Families. It's a shame that we have to be here celebrating this month, but it's a great thing that we're doing it at the same time, because without the recognition of how important this issue is, more lives will be lost. It's very tragic what's happening in our society, and thanks to you folks, people are on their way to getting better. Thanks for your help, your partnership. We're proud to be here, and we'll hopefully one day work ourselves out of business.
Next is Ray of Hope.
Thank you. I'm Debbie Christian from the Auburn Food Bank, and this is Kyle Foreman and Lauren Hackett, our staff at Ray of Hope. So I'm the director there, but we have opened up the day center for the homeless population and a night center in February. So we've been open 1 year, this last Wednesday, for Ray of Hope. And we're pretty proud of what's been happening down there. Just today, while recovery is sort of our wraparound services that we can do, just today we had a young man sit with us. We had trespassed him not 3 months ago because he'd been doing drugs on the property. And he came back to ask for forgiveness. And so today, as we talked with him and asked what his plan was for the future, he said, I need help and I need to get into a treatment center. And we are on board with that and going to make that happen for him this next month. So thank you very much for this. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for supporting us, because without you, we couldn't be here.
Thank you.
King County Behavioral Health and Recovery Division.
Hello, Council. My name is Mario Sweet. I'm the manager at King County Behavioral Health. I oversee the hospital and mental health residential section of our behavioral health division, which really focuses on discharging folks out of our state psychiatric hospitals and our community hospitals. The other section of the unit that I manage are the peer bridgers, and so these are folks with lived experience who are really, really pivotal in having folks really discharged with wraparound plans that are successful as they are fellow travelers with folks, again, with lived experience and really helping to advocate for folks to sustain in the communities. So I just want to say on behalf of King County and the Behavioral Health Division, like, we really appreciate you partnering with us and continuing to work with us and to help to get rid of the stigma that surrounds folks that have the condition within behavioral health. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And battlefield addiction.
Thank you. I'm Angie Keaty, co-founder of Battlefield Addiction. My incredibly powerful team would be here tonight representing with me, except they are holding our weekly solution group, where we have about 120 family members every Tuesday that come. So they are back there holding down the fort while I'm here. We are a team of recovered addicts or family members who have been through this battle. We are here. What we do is we work through the family. And then we have partnerships with treatment centers, sober living homes, other resources, so we can move quickly when we get their loved ones into treatment. And our mission is reconnecting the family, the addict, and the community. And we've been working the past 4 years on the addict and the family. Well, now the community portion is in our Battlefield Coffee House, which is just around the corner. So I hope you all will come out and have some coffee. But we're really here in the city of Enumclaw because we really want to partner with all of you. We really want a strong partnership with everybody so we can all get together and really strategize on right moves. We are here to deliver great coffee as well and put those loved ones, these young people in recovery, to work, delivering coffee to you all and serving you when you come in. So please come and have some coffee this month, and thank you for bringing this to light, and thank you for all that you all do. So thank you.
All right. So as you can see, very seldom do we have this many people that are up for one of these proclamations, but this is incredibly important work that you are all doing, and we appreciate it so much. As Michael, as you said, I hope one of these days we can put you all out of business. But until that time, we are very, very thankful, and we admire the work that you're doing. And so if you would go forward to our council and accept their appreciation for the work that you're doing. Yeah, and shake their hands. One more round of applause for everyone if we could. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate what you do for our community. Love it.
Thanks to staff for taking up the slack.
Yeah. I love it. They're exchanging cards over there. As our community is so well connected, and they continue to grow that network. So we celebrate Recovery Month, but we also need to be made aware of Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And so the proclamation for suicide awareness, whereas September is known around the United States as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and is intended to help promote awareness surrounding each of the suicide prevention resources available to us and our community. The simple goal is to learn how to help those around us and how to talk about suicide without increasing the risk of harm. And whereas suicidal thoughts can affect anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, orientation, income level, religion, or background, And whereas, according to the CDC, each year, more than 41,000 people die by suicide. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death amongst amongst adults in the United States, and the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 24. And whereas the City of Auburn is no different than any other community in the country, but chooses to publicly state and place our full support behind local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, PAC leaders, police officers, and parents as partners in supporting our community in simply being available to one another. And whereas local organizations like Suicide Prevention Services and national organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Health are on the front lines of a battle that many still refuse to discuss in public, as suicide and mental illness remain too difficult of a topic to speak on. And whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need the occasional reminder that we are silently fighting our own battles. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim September 2018 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the City of Auburn. And I encourage all residents to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family, friends, and neighbors, and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long ways in helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Dated this 4th day of September 2018. It is something that we really do need to make sure that we remove the stigma from behavioral health issues. We need to talk about these challenging subjects because not one more life should be lost on behavioral health issues, suicide, addictions. Simply put, we have to look out for one another. So thank you all for the work that you're doing on this. And again, someday, let's hope that we can meet on other terms and not have to worry about these. But until we do, thank you so much for the part that you play in making us a healthy community. Thank you. All right, we will move on. Tonight, Council, we have a brief presentation by the State Auditor's Office on cybersecurity. Ashley? Maybe, Ashley, it's just you doing the presentation, right? Okay.
So thank you again for the record, Ashley Riggs, Assistant Director of IT. So as you mentioned, this is just kind of a brief update on our cybersecurity audit that we just wrapped up as officially today. So Peg is with the state, and she's here as well to kind of recognize that today we wrap this up. She's with the State Auditor's Office. This is something that we got into an agreement, sounds like 2.5 years ago. So this was quite a long process and a real in-depth dive into our security posture. And we're good. So we're just wrapping that up tonight. And, you know, cybersecurity is obviously a very important topic, and part of it is awareness, which is why we're talking about it tonight. And as we continue to do throughout the year with just awareness topics, emails, videos, those types of things, it's something that we have done and we will continue to do because it is important, and we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to protect the city. So that's all I got for you. Peg and I are here if there's any questions. Otherwise, just want to keep you up to speed on things.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. It was, I commend our IT department for taking this on because not every city is willing to do it, and by no means are any of us perfect, but it was good to know that we continue to be vigilant in making sure that our information is safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ashley? Okay. Thank you, Ashley. All right, we will move on to appointments. Tonight for the Auburn Tourism Board, City Council to confirm the appointment of Laura Mae Cholet to the Auburn Tourism Board for a term to expire December 31st, 2020. Do we have a motion? Councilmember Holman.
Yes, I am moved for the appointment of Laura Mae Cholet to the Auburn Tourism Board.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I second that.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman, did you want to speak to this?
I do. Laura May has a master's in business administration from Seattle U. The link there is I married my wife after dating her while she was a student at Seattle U.
Not Laura May, your wife, right?
My wife.
Yes. Okay.
My wife, yes.
Sure.
So I have a soft spot for Seattle U. She's the sole proprietor of a small marketing firm, as well as the marketing director for the Outlook Collection, well suited for membership in the Auburn Tourism Board. Her resume was quite detailed and thick.
Excellent. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of Laura May Cholet to be appointed to the Auburn Tourism Board for a term to expire December 31st, 2020, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Passes. All right, I don't believe we have any agenda modifications this evening. We have no public hearings, so we will move to audience participation. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council on any issue. Those wishing to speak are reminded to sign in on the form provided, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record.
I like to give other people a chance, but I'm in a hurry tonight. Virginia Haugen, 2503 R Street Southeast. First, I want to say thank you to Nancy Backus, Bill Pelosa, and Tammy Capulli from our planning. I don't know her title. I believe she's planning.
Code enforcement.
Supervisor or director?
No, code enforcement officer.
Officer. Okay. For doing the cleanup of the litter in the right-of-way in my neighborhood. Yes, love it. Quickest response I've ever had from the city of Auburn. But alleys are a part of Auburn's history and are for transportation, not entertainment venues. You guys know what I'm talking about. I often hear people in this room speak of Auburn as a tree city. Tree cities do not clear-cut valuable green belts. Auburn is losing its natural habitat at an alarming rate. Since the Seattle storm is representing the entire state of Washington tonight, I'm going to go home and watch it on TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Say what?
I just asked if anyone else wanted to speak. Go Storm. All right, we will move on. Sean, do we have any correspondence this evening? No, Your Honor. All right, Council Ad Hoc Committee reports. Let's see. So both of our committee chairs are absent this evening, so I'm hoping that someone can fill in for Finance. Council Member Holman.
Thank you, Mayor. Larry Brown and I met earlier this morning to go over the claims vouchers and the payroll vouchers. We reviewed 168 claim vouchers and 6 wire transfers from a report dated September, it should have been August 18th, for a total amount of $1,241,000. All claims were reviewed and were reasonable and in good order. We went over the payroll vouchers from August 16th to August 29th and reviewed them. There were 16 checks, 578 direct deposits, 8 associated electronic funds transfers for things like tax, retirement, etc., totaling $2,483,000. The Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. All right, and for the Roads Committee, either one of the other 2 council members on that committee, would either one of you like to speak? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
We did meet, and we met with Shelley and Ingrid, and we went over some of the things that we have been covering, and we're going to continue meeting, and we met with you. I'm sorry, Shelley. We were supposed to meet with you, but yeah. Okay, sorry. And we are still looking at some of the things that we have gone over to make sure that we bring it all back to the council. And we're meeting next week. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. We're meeting tomorrow morning. Okay.
Thank you. All right. We will move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Do we have a motion? Deputy Mayor Baggett.
I move to approve, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Baggett.
Thank you. We have about 5 items on the consent agenda tonight. We have the minutes of the November 14th, December 12th, and August 27th, 2018 study session. And we have the minutes of the August 20th, 2018 regular council meeting, August 14th, 2018, and August 16th, 2018, and August 28th, 2018 special city council meeting. We also have the claims vouchers and the payroll vouchers addressed by Councilmember Holman. And we have the last item on the list is a Public Works Project CP 1811, which is to have the City Council award a contract 18-06 to Doolittle Construction on their low bid of $120,850 for project number CP 1811. 2018 arterial crack seal project for our roads.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say no. Passes. All right, we have no unfinished business this evening or any new business, so we will move on to resolutions. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 5380, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, clarifying when facility extension fees will be paid and amending the city's fee schedule.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Deputy Mayor Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt Resolution 5380.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Councilmember Holman.
Second.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Baggett.
Thank you. Basically, as addressed by some of our staff, certain contractors or developers are a little uncertain at times regarding our clear when their fees are to be paid for facility extensions for certain water, sewer, storm, and street improvements. This has resulted in us providing this 5380, Resolution 5380, which will specify for the benefit of the contractors and developers that 40% of the fees will be paid at the during the second review, or if no second review is required, just before the city issues a notice of plan approval. The remaining balance will be paid by the applicant before the city signs the facility extension agreement.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of resolution number 5380, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Passes. Well, since it is still summertime, we do have sometimes shorter agendas in the summer. So we have concluded the business of the city, and we will move on to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed positions on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. And we will begin with Deputy Mayor Baggett.
No report, but I will have after tomorrow.
Okay. We'll stay tuned. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
The only one I have to report on is the welcome back to Auburn High School. I went to help out with the Blue Ribbon Committee and also with Health Point. They were there to make sure that all the students the parents knew that the immunizations were up, and they were checking all the students that don't have them yet, and they did get quite a few of them while we were there. Then after that, I went over to help the other committee that I belong to, the Auburn Coalition, and we handed out a lot of material and had a spin wheel, and the kids had so much fun. But with the Blue Ribbon, going back to the Blue Ribbon, we ran out of goodies right in the middle. We, Health Point also had some things to give out, and that's how many people turned out. They had such a great response, families coming in and everything. So both committees that I went to, we gave out a lot of information. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Wales.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to remind Dana that at our last budget meeting, she shared with us a proposal for $500,000 for homeless and behavioral health interventions, and we requested a breakdown on what that $500,000 or $500,000 was going to be spent for, and we're looking forward to receiving that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wells. Councilmember Holman.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Auburn is a member of the National League of Cities, and this year our national conference will be held on November 7th through the 10th. And I am chair this year of the First Tier Suburbs Committee. Auburn is the first tier suburb of Seattle, and as such, I reached out to Jeff Marcel of TIP Strategies. Now, TIP stands for Theory into Practice, and the name is familiar to all of us because his firm is handling Auburn's strategic plan. And so I asked him if he would, free gratis, go to this conference and give a little 2-hour talk on bringing together regional public-private educational leaders to address specific issues impacting future economic success of selected communities, a region. And he's agreed to do this. And so we've spent the last several weeks developing a syllabus for this 2-hour class. And we met this morning to kind of put the final touches on it so that we can begin advertising it to the National League of Cities for other cities that are in the shadow of a major metropolitan area. And so just like we're in the shadows of Seattle, but yet we have unique and valuable things that sometimes we overlook. And Jeff is very good at pointing those things out and helping us develop a strategic plan. So he is considered to talk to the National League of Cities during this 2-hour presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, few activities since we were here last time. On Tuesday, August 21st, bright and early in the morning, the Chamber of Commerce sponsored a new teacher appreciation breakfast over at the Outlook Collection, and the Auburn School District has approximately 100 new hires this year. Many of them, well, probably about a 50-50 split with brand new teachers and those mid-career, because some of the districts around us had, unfortunately, did some layoffs, but fortunately for us, we were able to pick up some great teachers for the Auburn School District. So their first day of school is tomorrow, the first day back for the Auburn School District. I encourage everyone to make sure to watch for those flashing lights in school zones, because some of these students are going to be very excited about going back to school and will be running around, and others will have their heads down because they're not going to be excited about going back to school and may not be paying attention to traffic. So please make sure that you are on the lookout for our students as we welcome them back to the next school year. On, let's see, that same evening, we had a ribbon cutting up in Lakeland for Stack 571, a brand new restaurant in the city of Auburn, and it is whiskey and burgers. And they had about 100 different whiskeys up on their wall. We did not sample any, but it did look pretty impressive while we were there. On Saturday, the 25th of August, the Auburn Valley Humane Society sponsored their Bark Fest and Rover Romp at Regner Park. And so I was there to start the 3K and the 5K race, as well as judge the costume contest. It was a great turnout. The weather was not exactly perfect, but it was a really fun day for everyone that was there. And last week, as I mentioned during the proclamations, there were 2 events that I attended. One on Thursday, August 30th in the evening at Battlefield Coffee House for Battlefield Addiction. It was a dessert potluck, and there were plenty of desserts to be had. And it was a mix of people in attendance. There were those who are struggling to obtain sobriety and be in recovery. There are those who may have been in recovery for a couple of days, some that were celebrating a year of sobriety, and there were some of the providers as well as a group of people who never wanted to be part of this, but they were parents who have lost their son or daughter to addiction, to an overdose. And they are such strong individuals, as you heard Angie earlier this evening. The reason that some of her cohorts were not here is because it is the evening every week that they have the family sessions, and it's very, very important work that they are doing. So I want to thank them for that work. And then on Friday at the Auburn King County Library, the King County Behavioral Health and Recovery Division sponsored an event, Opioid Overdose Awareness Day, because that is what Friday was. And there was some great information provided. I was honored to give a welcome to the group that was there. And at the end of the presentations, there was naloxone that was distributed to anyone that was there that wanted that. Naloxone, for those of you that may not know, or Narcan, which is one of the brand names, can be used in case of an overdose. If you come upon someone who has overdosed on opiates, either heroin or opioids, when they take too much, when they overdose, their breathing stops or comes to almost a stop. And so the naloxone, which is a nasal spray, can be given to them, and typically it will bring them out for at least 90 minutes. So it brings them back to life, enough time to get them to a hospital or to a medical facility so they can be treated. The one great thing about naloxone is if the person is not overdosing, naloxone is not going to hurt them at all. It's just like a saline solution. And so it's critical if you know someone who may have a substance use disorder, an opioid addiction, I highly recommend that you go to your local pharmacy and ask to get a kit for the naloxone. You could save a life. And so I have one now in my car. Hopefully I never have to use it, but if I do, I know how to use it, and we'll have it available. And then one more thing, next, let's see, this Thursday night, the Civics Academy, this will be our 3rd year of holding the Civics Academy. I believe we have close to 20 people who signed up to be part of this 11-week course. They meet typically on Thursday evenings, and we go through each one of the departments in the city. The directors and their teams come in and explain why some roads get done and some roads don't, or why they are prioritized, or why police do certain things, why our legal department won't let any of us be in a quorum unless it's a public meeting, why HR does what they do, why our parks are such great parks, and what it takes to keep them operational, and our finance department, what it takes to keep a city of this size running, and the budget that council will be approving in the near future. So if you didn't get signed up this year, I encourage you to next time it comes around. It really is a great course to take. And then next Tuesday, September 11th, we are holding a Mayor's Summit. It is Cities and Schools, which is comprised of Auburn, Algona Pacific, the Auburn School District, and Green River College. And we have an initiative to create and retain family wage income jobs in the city of Auburn. And we are so fortunate that we have a great school district as well as a college in our city. And so we have invited in business owners and others in the area to come together to determine how do we move forward with this initiative and to put together a steering committee that will help move that work forward, because we know our students, not all of them are four-year college bound, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to be four-year college bound or even two-year college bound, but we do know that it's critical that you have some post-secondary education and training, and that's exactly what we are going to be working on, is how do we encourage our students and how do we encourage others in our community to make sure that they are utilizing their skills to the best of their ability. Mr. City Attorney, do we have need for an executive or closed session this evening?
No, Mayor.
All right, in that case, we are adjourned. Thank you.